Hey, what's cracking? Hope this video finds you doing well. I want to thank you for clicking on the video. If it's the first time you've ever watched one, my name is Ricky Dye, and I went to prison for murder in the state of Oklahoma when I was 15 years old. I was in prison for 20 years, 5 months, and 29 days before I got out. I can't do anything to change my past, can't do anything to go back and get a do-over. It just doesn't work that way for us. But what I can do is share my experience in the hopes that by me sharing my experience, you'll never have to experience it. My goal is hopefully that by sharing these things, it'll make someone think twice before they make a decision that will end them up in prison. And today, what I wanted to talk about is the worst thing that can happen to you in prison. Before I do that, I'd like to say if you care to watch my videos, you'll enjoy them best if you'll start at the beginning, because that's where I started. At the beginning, when I was 15, what led to me committing the crime that landed me in prison at the age of 15. I go from that to what it's like to be certified as an adult and how that situation, how it is that the law does that. And then I start to share what happens to me at each prison. And I try to do it in order, but I do jump around because I forgot things as I've went. And I like to cover different things at different times. And today I'm going to do just that. I'm going to cover the worst thing that can happen to you if you end up in prison. The worst thing that can happen to you if you go to prison is to lose someone you love. Not just the worst thing that can happen to you, but if someone else loses someone they love, something can happen to you. Because bad things happen when people lose people that they love. When you're in prison and you're locked away and you don't have anything, all you have is to sit back and think about the family you have on the outside. If you maybe have someone you can go make a phone call and talk to, but maybe someone you love dies and you've been in trouble and you're not on a high enough level and you don't get to go to the funeral. Maybe there's no phone that you can call. Maybe they call you into the office. This is what happens if you don't have a family to alert you and let you know, and they do end up letting the prison finds out. They'll call you up in the case manager's office to let you know someone you love has died. Chaplain may be with them when they talk to you to try to make sure you're going to be all right, because people deal with it different ways when they lose the people that they love. I've seen a young guy at Hinton try to kill himself. His mother passed away, and later that night they found him hanging in his cell. He was unsuccessful that time, but I don't know what happened to that guy after that. It really broke him. He ended up down in the mental crisis unit in medical, being watched on suicide alert. That happens sometimes. I remember when I was at Hinton, something that happened to me. Some of you guys from Tulsa or Oklahoma City will probably recognize these names, but these guys were friends of mine. These guys, it was Big Nate, K-Love, and Decon. And Decon is the one I got into it with. So me and Decon, we're friends. Me and K-Love and Decon, we're all friends. We play dominoes in the day room every day together. We play basketball together. I play chess with Decon all the time. But Decon got some cocaine in. And Decon didn't deal drugs and stuff very often. He just happened to get his girl come up here, and this girl brought him some drugs. His first time deal for him. He hadn't been slinging drugs in prison, and he didn't know the kind of guys that we could sell the drugs to, who he could sell it to. But me, I knew all the people to sell drugs to. I knew who did coke, and I knew who did ice, and I know who did the pills and who did the weed, because I was always slinging. I was always the dope man. I was always helping people get stuff in. So when Decon got this stuff in, him and Big Nate, that's his cousin, they come to me and K-Love, and they want me to have somebody test this cocaine for him and make sure it's good. So I get this guy over there, and he gets him a free shot of dope to tell him how good it is. And it was really good. And they wanted to sell it. And he had some he wanted to sell for cocaine, and he had some he wanted to trade for weed. And he wanted to sell some for money and have some money sent to his girl that brought this stuff up there for him. And Decon was raised by his grandmother. Well, I help him sell this stuff. I help him sell some of it for money transfers, and he trades some off to this guy Tyrone, and Tyrone is supposed to bring him weed come this weekend, or some pills that he can trade for weed. But come the weekend, here's the weekend is here, and some of these people are supposed to have been sending this money ain't hit. And I myself owe him $100 because I've done got a paper from him on credit and went and traded it off for some canteen and some weed. So I owe him too. But when I got it from him, there was no time limit on when I would pay what I owed. It was just, I was his homeboy. I'm helping him sell this shit. And so, I'm going to pay for it as soon as I get it. And I told him that maybe this weekend these guys might pay me. I might have some of it for him. But that shit didn't come through, so I didn't have anything to give him. And I had stayed up all night and slept half the day. So when I woke up, visits are about over, and I don't even know it. He comes over to me and asks me, "Hey, did you get some of that weed, man? Nobody's paying. None of that money's hitting that you said would hit." I was like, "Well, we'll go jam these motherfuckers up." I said, "For visits over, we should have." And he said, "Dude, visits is almost over now." And I was like, "Damn, man, I was half asleep. I wasn't paying attention." So it's like 4 o'clock, and at 4 o'clock they have a movement time from 4 to 4:20. You have 20 minutes to get where you're going to go. So for a little while, the doors are open for 20 minutes, and usually they're only open for 10. Every hour they'll open the door for 10 minutes so that you can move to another day room, or go to the gym or the library or to your job, wherever it is, and then they'll lock it all back down again. And then the next hour comes and you get 10 minutes. But when 4 o'clock gets there, you get 20 minutes, because at 4:20 is count time. You got to be in your cell, locked down for count. So 4:20, Deacon's running around. He's trying to get his money from these people, and jamming people up, saying they sent money and it ain't there. And he's really mad. And they lock us down for 4:20. And as soon as the count clears, our unit was the first one out to eat. So you get the count clear about 4:45, and then you'll have about 15 or 20 minutes where they start serving chow around 5 after. So as soon as the count clears, Decon goes and gets on the phone call to see if any money's there, and he finds out that his grandma's in the hospital and may not make it through the night. As soon as they let the units out for chow, he's waiting on C unit to get out. This guy Tyrone down there, I've hooked him up with, supposed to bring in some pills or some weed today. He ain't come and said nothing. So he's going to go down there looking for Tyrone. But Tyrone ends up coming to our unit. But he's telling Decon that he didn't get nothing today. But Decon has done heard that he's down there sneaking. He didn't get that many. So what happened is Tyrone did get some pills and a little bit of weed. But he didn't get as much as he expected. So he was supposed to give Decon some anyway. But he lies and tells Decon he ain't got none, so he can pay these other guys down on his unit that he has to live around. So that makes Decon mad. So Decon goes and gets him a lock on a belt. And he has Nate and Caleb with him, and they're going to whip Tyrone. But Tyrone gets out of the unit. So they decide he's all mad. His grandma might die. So it all falls on me. So I'm up in the unit, man. Count just cleared. Like I said, it ain't been open long. They're letting the units out for chow. I wasn't going to eat chow. I was going to go check on weed. I'm standing there brushing my teeth. Door opens. Decon steals on me. Knocked me plumb over to the locker. There's a locker on the wall. Now Decon weighs around 240, 250. He ain't that tall, but he's yoked, man. This is back when we had free weights. And Decon, Caleb, and Nate, they're on the weight pile every day, and they're three of the biggest dudes around, man. No one wants to get in a fight with these guys. I wouldn't have wanted to fight him in a one-on-one fight fair. But he hits me, knocks me in the locker. I turn around, and I'm surprised he didn't knock me out. But he stunned me, and I turn around, put my hands up, and he's got a lock on a belt. He swings it at me, and I try to dodge, and I slip in the water and fall down in the cell. I fall down. Now he's standing up over me with this lock on this belt, and I'm in the fucking floor. And he starts swinging this motherfucker at me, and I'm getting lucky as a motherfucker because he swung it and hit the top bunk. He swung it and hit the desk. He swung it and hit the bottom bunk. He's in everything but me, man. So I end up getting back while he's swinging this at me. I get around on my hands and knees, and I try to double leg him, man. Try to get him down on the ground with me. And he grabs me by my fucking ponytail and jerks me back up. And this dude is strong as fuck, dude. I can't do nothing with Decon, man. I weigh like 165 pounds. This motherfucker weighs 250, works out every day. He's slinging me around. He's got me by my ponytail, and all of a sudden, Big Nate and Caleb are at the door, holding the doorway. Me and him are going through doing this shit. He's trying to whoop me, but he keeps missing. About that time, Quincy Scott stepped in the door and said, "What the fuck are y'all doing, man? Y'all are best friends. Y'all are fucking friends." And all of a sudden, he just stopped. Both of us just stopped looking at each other. He let go of my hair. I let go of him. I was trying to grab him, trying to keep him from swinging that lock at me. He turns around. Him, Nate, and Caleb just walk off. Don't say nothing. I tell Quincy, get out of the cell. I lock the door, put the curtain up. They already know that I'm going to get a knife out. They know that that's what I'm doing. And it is what I was doing because these dudes are too big for me. This guy was too big for me if it would have been a one-on-one fight. Damn sure didn't need to bring no lock. But they leave out of the day room, and now it's about 6 o'clock, and they're locking the day rooms down. Okay, you go eat, but as soon as your unit's done eating, everybody gets back, they'll lock them day rooms down. You'll be locked in your day room until movement time on the hour. Like it's 6:30, they'll have a movement. Then they'll have one at like 7:45, then they'll have one at 8:45, and that'll be it for the day. You got to go back to the unit, count time at 9. You don't get out no more. You're in your day room after that. So he goes back to his day room. He lives in a day room right next door. And they locked the doors down, and we got 1 hour before they open again. And all this just took place. And I'm tripping. I'm thinking, this motherfucker's and stole on me while I was brushing my fucking teeth. He's in there trying to beat me with this fucking lock. I know I owe him, so people are going to look at it like I'm the one in the wrong because I owe him money and I haven't paid him yet. So I'm going to be the one in the wrong, even though he came and sucker punched me. All of a sudden, they call me down to the door. So there's a door between the two units that they pop for the officers. When they walk around and do count, they go through that side door. And we would slide things back and forth to each other under that sliding door. We'd call each other. If you want to talk to somebody in the next day room, you go down there and talk through the door. So next thing I know, they're calling me to the door. And it's Decon. He wants me to come to the door. And I told you, me and Decon have been friends for quite a while now. Calls me down to the bottom of the door and he says, hey, man, I know you're over there probably getting your knife. He said, you know, we got knives too. You know, I'm not scared of you, Ricky Dye, but I got to tell you this. I just found out my grandma's not probably going to make it through the night. That wasn't for you. That was for Tyrone. We didn't get that lock for you. I said, dude, you're bigger than me, Decon. For one, I thought we were fucking friends. If you would have just told me it was that fucking serious to you, dude, I'll go borrow something and give it to you to show you I'm trying to pay you. It ain't like I was trying to beat you. I didn't have a time limit on when I was supposed to pay. And I'm like, you could have jumped on me just with your fist. If anything, dude, you didn't need a fucking lock. And he's like, that wasn't for you, Rick, man. I'm sorry, man, about that many. So Decon cleared what I owed him and gave me $100 paper to let it go. And so I did. I did let it go because he sucker punched me, but it didn't leave no marks. I had one spot on my leg. You could see the imprint of the lock on my leg. You could see the little circle where you turn it. And then you could see a bigger circle. There's a perfect bruise on my leg where he hit me one time with that lock. But I ended up letting that go, and because we were friends, and I kind of understood. Because one day I went to get on the phone and call my mom, and got on the phone, and she tells me she don't want me to be mad at her. Be mad at you about what? Well, Granny just had an emergency surgery on her heart. She's going to be okay. But I didn't want to tell you about it until it was done because I didn't want you in there worrying about it, knowing there's nothing you can do, whether she made it or not. And we're going to bring her up there to see you, but when we do, I don't want you to get too upset. Because when they brought her up there to see me, she's used to weighing around 200 pounds. I had a little short, round, fat grandma, and when she showed up, there's a little skinny lady I barely could recognize. And I remember just crying about it, just crying, and she didn't even die. I had a real blessing in my life. I lost my grandmother and my grandfather on my dad's side when I was in the county jail. But I had never been close to that side of my family where I was very close with my mother's mother. My grandmother on my mom's side was like a mother to me nearly. She helped raise me. My mom is my mom, but my grandmother was the next thing to it. And so when I almost lost her, it nearly broke me. Even when I found out that she was going to be all right, just seeing her, how little she was. I remember crying as I left that visiting room, trying to hide it from everyone. Because I tell you all the times that the violence ain't the worst of it. The worst of it's when you go get on that phone and you find out someone you love is in ICU. They're in the hospital. They might not make it. Or when they die and then you're not on a high level because you've got in trouble, or you're not on level 4, or maybe you got a violent crime. So they're not going to let you go and see the people that you love get planted in the ground, and you don't get no closure. You don't get no closure, and it's very hard to deal with. I remember whenever I was at Cushing, there's a corner cell and there's a phone upstairs. There's a corner, and in that corner there's a phone on the wall that people can use. And there was a guy in the cell there, and he had his TV on. It was kind of loud, and his door was cracked, and there was a guy sitting there on the phone. And this guy on the phone finds out that his mama just died, and he gets mad at this dude because the TV's up. Tells that dude, I'll kill you, my mama just died, and just goes in there and beats the fucking shit out of this dude because his TV was up loud while he was on the phone and found out his mom died. Beats this fucking dude out, dude. And they go downstairs and like, we think it's all over, you know what I'm saying? And that's going to be it. This dude goes back up there and beats that dude out again and makes that dude catch out. All because he was upset because his mom died and the dude's phone was up loud. So something happens to somebody else's mama, and there you are walking by and you accidentally bump into them. Maybe you make a face at them. Maybe your eyes lock too long. So either position is not one you want to be in, man. So no matter what you got going on in your life, if you're thinking about doing something that's going to lead to maybe you being in prison, I don't think you really realize how many chips you're putting in the middle of the table. Because you're putting them all in there, baby. When they come and get you, when you've broke the law and you've lost your job and your house and you can't pay your bills, you're going to probably lose your family. Let's just keep it real. I've never went to prison and seen a man do a 10-year sentence and keep his girl. Never seen it happen, even when they were married for years beforehand. It just doesn't happen. You're going to lose the people you love. So think about that twice before you go and you break the law. With that, this is only a 15-minute video so far, but I'm going to cut it short today because I thought I would do this video about losing the people you love because I have so much going on in my own personal life right now. My mother is back home. For some of you who've asked how my mother's doing, you've been praying for my mother. I want you to know that she's doing better. She is getting better, a little stronger each and every day. Hopefully at some point she'll still be able to have her back surgery. We don't know what caused that stroke, but she had had a blood transfusion the day before. And we think that it was caused by the blood transfusion. So hopefully that was a one and done, and we won't see another stroke. But I can't sit around every day terrified what's going to happen tonight. We can't live our lives that way. We have to appreciate the day that we have and just hope that tomorrow is a good day too, because that's all we can do. We can just take care of now, right now. We can't do anything about the future, and we can't do anything about the past. I think it's funny that you always hear people talk about what it was like when they were a kid, wishing they were a kid again. Or you hear people that can't wait till they get to retire. But people never take the time to just enjoy what is right now. And right now, if you're anywhere between 20 and 50 years old, it's the best part of your life. You're an adult. You can do anything you want to do. You're free to do what you want to do. But most of us either get caught up in drugs, or we're so worried about the bills in our life, all the things that we got that are hard, that we don't take time to enjoy what we got right now. But brother, if you're sitting at home, in your own home, watching this video, you got a car to drive, you got a job, if you're in good health, all those things are blessings in your life, man. So appreciate those things for what they are. Try to be happy every day. Remember to pick up your blessings and throw down your curses. And that's my story, and that's my mission, and I'm sticking to it. With that, I want to do some thank yous, man. Rob Johnson did 2 different super thanks. So thank you, Rob. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. I can always count on you. You're always there. Proud Masculinity did another super thanks. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate it. And a person did a super thanks, but I don't have their name. It's 1LTHRNK. You know who you are. Thank you for the super thanks. Money is never expected on this channel. Never ask no one for money. Anyone ever hit you up on Messenger and ask you for money and say they're me, they're lying. They're lying. I'll never ask you for no money. But if you take the time to give me a little money, any money, whether it's $1 or $1,000, I'm going to make sure I tell you I appreciate it, because I feel like you got that coming. I want to give a shout out to the riders and dyers. The riders who ride till the wheels fall off, and the dyers keep riding even when they do. If you ain't got you a shirt yet, what are you waiting on? With that, may God bless, keep, and protect you, man, until I see you again. Peace out.